welcome to all our viewers in every corner of the globe. As Ronnie Moran leads Liverpool out, Malcolm Crosby leads Sunderland out, and here come the teams for the 1991-92 FA Cup-Final, and a rapturous welcome here at Wembley Stadium. Who would have believed at the start of this season that these two men would be leading their teams out? Moran standing in today for Graham Souness, although Souness has travelled with the Liverpool party, and Crosby, who only took charge at Sunderland in the middle of this season, and none in this Sunderland crowd today could have believed at the turn of the year that it would all end up in May in the FA Cup final here. Well, it's been a dank, cool May morning in London. There's been plenty of rain overnight, and that has certainly softened the surface here. But will it be any sort of leveller? As Sunderland, who've had a disappointing season in Division 2, try to take on one of the true giants. And Graham Souness has not only travelled with Liverpool, he has changed into his tracksuit and will make his way out here to sit closer to the action, at the least of it, just weeks after his heart surgery. Still very much a man on the mend. A wonderful occasion, as ever, and the dignitaries will be led out here by the Duke and Duchess of Kent for the introduction to the two teams in time-honoured fashion. Sunderland fans were pleased to hear of the arrival of His and Her Highness the Duke and Duchess. Ironically, the last time they were here as guests of honour, Sunderland won the FA Cup. Famously, one of the most famous FA Cup finals of all time, against Leeds United. But is that an omen for what will happen here today? Mark Wright, captaining Liverpool, starts the introductions. What a climax to his first season with the club. Bruce Grobbelaar, as ever, at home on this stage, at Wembley stage he's graced so often already. Bert Millerchip, the chairman of the FA, and Graham Kelly, the chief executive, accompanying Her Highness the Duchess of Kent there, along with Gordon McKeague, on what has been already a momentous week for English football, with the announcement that England will be host for Euro 96. What a huge shot in the arm for the game here, and let's hope that this wonderful club occasion turns into a fitting showcase for all that is best about English football. Ronnie Moran, 43 years at Anfield, so popular all round the game, and his many friends in football will be thrilled for him today, given the honour by Souness of leading his beloved Liverpool out. No question, though, that behind the smiles, Liverpool know that they are huge favourites here today. And what of the underdog Sunderland? It's all new to so many of these players. Paul Bracewell, captain of Sunderland, leading the dignitaries down his line. And Malcolm Crosby, appointed permanently as Sunderland manager only last week, having taken the helm at the turn of the year at Roker, replacing Dennis Smith. And what a transformation in his fortunes and the club's. Philip Don is our FA Cup final referee. Rob Harris from Oxford, John Hilditch from Stoke-on-Trent are the linesmen, and the reserve official, Kelvin Morton. And it's as big an occasion for any of those men as for any of the players. And equally, such an honour for them. So all the waiting and all the talking is just about over. The teams will break to the other ends here at Wembley today. And what a roar greets them. So down to business in this FA Cup final. Bruce Grobbelaar and Steve Nicol, each with 3 previous FA Cup final appearances for Liverpool. No Ronnie Whelan and no John Barnes today. 20-year-old Steve McManaman, the youngest player on either side in this final, only returning here after injury in the semi-final 5 weeks ago. And for Sunderland, for so many, an extraordinary turn in their careers, like number 2, Gary Ayres, who comes in place of the unfortunate and injured John Kay. Ayres himself has been out of the game for so long with serious injuries. And a place at number 6 for David Rush. He won't be 21 years of age until next week. John Byrne has scored in every round along the way and hopes today to join a very exclusive club. The unlucky man there, certainly Paul Hardyman among the subs. He has played in every cup tie this season, but 6 of those Sunderland players appear here for the first time in their careers today. Jan Molby was magnificent here against Everton in '86, and they need his leadership. One or two suggestions that Liverpool may try to vary the expected routine defensively here today, so we'll take a close eye on that once the game settles down. And for Steve McManaman, an incredible end to his first full season as a first-team player at Anfield, and he and young Mike Marsh, very much the rookies in this Liverpool squad. They sat on the coach today together and walked out here for a feel of the turf an hour or so ago together. Tony Norman has been magnificent in his turn for Sunderland on this road to the final, and in his own way as much of a character as Grobbelaar in the other goal. But they'll need more heroics from him, certainly. And Gary Ayres, who could have dreamt that he would make it to an FA Cup final when his career seemed ripped up by injury? All is set then. Sunderland lost the toss and have changed strip. Not the famous red and white stripes today. It's Liverpool in their equally famous red. Here we go then. The 111th FA Cup final is underway. Almost. Little too keen. At the second time of asking, John Byrne gets Sunderland going forward. First touch for McManaman. Nicol with the throw. Michael Thomas gives David Burrows a touch, and it does very much look as though Burrows has started alongside Mark Wright in the centre of the Liverpool defence. That was talked about, rumoured, and it looks very much to be the case. Atkinson got on it for Sunderland. Ian Rush tracking back, just overdoing it. The challenge on Rush, his namesake David Rush, gives the first free kick to Sunderland. Easily picked out by Wright. Paul Bracewell takes the throw. Rogan. One in the air by Burrows. Drop for Byrne in a promising situation. He's a very good striker of the ball, John Byrne. And it's a promising little opening by Sunderland here. Unaccustomed role certainly for Burrows as a centre-half, and the last touch came off Peter Davenport, I think. It wasn't a very authoritative clearing header from Burrows. Rob Jones forward for Liverpool. Ian Rush showed for it. Michael Thomas. Rogan loving those sort of challenges. That'll make him feel quite at home here at Wembley today. So too Gary Bennett gets his first stern challenge in, and overall you feel Sunderland have made an excellent start here in the first few minutes. Players who might have had nerves today getting stuck in early, getting good touches and forcing Liverpool back. It's definitely soft underfoot here after all the rain. One or two players losing their footing. The Liverpool players that we spoke to, however, notably Dean Saunders before kick-off, said he hoped that would help Liverpool with their slick passing game. They've opened it up here. Michael Thomas might have opened the scoring in Liverpool's first attack, and right on cue Liverpool's passing did open up Sunderland. Ray Houghton with the ball in. Michael Thomas alert. That's a clever little ball by Houghton, right through the heart of the Sunderland defence. Credit Tony Norman for getting out of the feet. But that's what Liverpool hoped they might be able to do, pass their way through Sunderland. First chance. Nickel forward to McManaman. Atkinson out to guard him. He got a foot in somehow. David Rush got close as well. Offside against Davenport. But not much sign early on here that Sunderland are overawed by the task. Certainly a well-prepared game plan today by Malcolm Crosby. Bennett charging it to fill it down. They might be a bit short-handed at the back as a result. It's Dean Saunders for Liverpool. Excellent covering tackle by Ayres. And then Armstrong stepped in to complete the tidying up. Bracewell leads Sunderland out. Armstrong went again. Well, it started brightly, this FA Cup final. A sight of goal for Sunderland at one end, a clear chance for Liverpool at the other. And both sets of players clearly determined to give us entertainment. Houghton. Burrows to right. Rob Jones, and again Rogan got very close to him and made another good crunching challenge. Byrne won his challenge too. Sunderland have got 3-on-3 here. It's John Byrne, right down the midriff of Grobbelaar. Excellent work by Rogan, and it's a good start by Sunderland too. Space opening up. We could be in for something of a Wembley classic here. McManaman has a dart at Ayres, comes inside. Steve Nicol arrives. Rush did well, but so too did Thomas. Nicol continued his run. Norman stretching and needed help. Gordon Armstrong put it over the top. And just as well for Sunderland. Right climbed. Out as far as Michael Thomas. No handball against Molby. Steve Nicol. Right at stayed forward. Ian Rush so sharp onto it as ever, and Tony Norman sharply down. Second good save by Norman. What a season he's had, and what an FA Cup run in particular. Clever work by Wright. He knew Rush would come onto it. Saunders, Houghton. Beautifully done by Molby. Dean Saunders just brushed aside. Philip Dunn saw it. It was clever by Gary Bennett, but caught out by the referee nonetheless. McManaman to Nicol. Saunders again, they got close to him, and this time it was Bracewell who was strong into his challenge. Liverpool's 1 and 2 touch, just showing signs every now and then of getting started. Rob Jones, composed under the pressure. Did give it away though. Rogan forward. Just had the idea of getting Davenport on a run. Nicol. Thomas beat by Atkinson. Davenport. Sunderland have got plenty of men forward again. Oh, there were all sorts of possibilities, including Armstrong coming in on the back post. And really and truly, Gary Ayres might have made more of that. The worry for Liverpool is how short-handed they are here. Seems like a rush of blood to the head by Ayres, with all sorts of options. But it's bright from Sunderland, isn't it? Those wins over Norwich in the semi-final. Chelsea over 2 games in round 6. West Ham over 2 games in round 5. Those are the games that built the confidence which has carried over into this FA Cup final so far, after an indifferent league season, to say the best of it. But so far the gap in the divisions is not showing itself, and that's great news for all the many, many neutrals watching all over the world. Of course, it must be said as well that all the many, many Liverpool fans watching all over the world won't need reminding that the last time they came into an FA Cup final as hot favourites against Wimbledon, they were on the receiving end of one of the all-time great upsets. Jones forward into space for Dean Saunders. It's Liverpool's top scorer, Saunders. And once more. Might yet reach Nicol. He's done well, Steve Nicol. It's a corner to Liverpool. And when Liverpool do attack with pace, that's when Sunderland look slightly less comfortable. Set move. Houghton missed it. Seen him volley from there more than once this season. Michael Thomas. Houghton in space. McManaman. Molby. Broken up in numbers by Sunderland. Well blocked this time by Houghton. No counter-attack. Right. Elegantly by Molby as ever to Jones. Little 1-2 with himself, played by Houghton. First touch from Mulby was good. Michael Thomas, not quite such a clever ball from him. Sunderland hold firm. Very entertaining first section to this FA Cup final. In by Houghton. Rush was the player who lost his footing. That's David Rush, and caught a glimpse there of Brian Atkinson, who, like so many of these Sunderland players today, can hardly believe the turn that their career has taken here in reaching this FA Cup final. John Byrne given a bit of room here. Armstrong was caught on his heels, and that allowed Rob Jones out to close the gap. Wasn't really expecting it, I don't think. Rogan. Liverpool didn't really press him. Fed it into Peter Davenport. Rogan with another chance. Liverpool again allow him to shoot. And Grobbelaar did have to stretch and get across. Well, Liverpool just seemed to stand off and invite Sunderland onto them then. I think Grobbelaar may have clipped his own head on the post as he goes down here. Let's look again. It's a well-struck shot and it bounces awkwardly in front of that post. Grobbelaar couldn't take any risk. But he is the one who ended up getting clattered, I think. Chance here, John Byrne! More than half a chance, and he wasn't offside. Well, it's a glaring opportunity, and will Sunderland rue that? Liverpool all over the place from a corner. It's often their biggest criticism. One or two defenders went to ground and went to sleep. Sunderland could, indeed should be in front. Well, the warnings are there for Liverpool, certainly. Mulby wide. Nicol. Thomas. Steve McManaman had come inside. Houghton. Little ball over the top, aimed at Thomas, who continued his run from midfield. It seems to be a problem for Sunderland, that the running of Michael Thomas from those central areas. Something they're going to have to try to deal with better. Well, you wouldn't say Liverpool are ever satisfied, but it's the Sunderland fans clearly whose hunger is the greater here coming to this FA Cup final. And the Sunderland players look pretty hungry out there too, don't they? Can Byrne make amends for that missed opportunity? Ours free kick. Won by Armstrong. Grobbelaar punching, not clear. Liverpool looking less than solid defensively. Rogan. On by Armstrong. Rogan's gone again into the corner with Jones, he just overdid it. Free kick. Little unnecessary from Anton Rogan. Jones was under enough pressure, you felt. There might have been something there for Sunderland. Still, he showed up well down the left. Rogan made Grobbelaar work hard. Offside, I think it was Dean Saunders coming back a little slowly. Chance for Gary Bennett to launch one, perhaps. Armstrong coming in off that left flank. That's a set Sunderland move. Might just have been leaning on his man then, Gordon Armstrong. Pressed by Byrne. Again, it's a little slippy and a little shoddy as a result for Liverpool. Good pressure from David Rush. One or two little signs that Liverpool are having a dull spell here. Their level seems to have dropped, and Sunderland pick it up. Byrne has won a throw for the underdogs, who've created chances here. Six players, as I mentioned, have never played at Wembley before, but you'd not know it, would you? Armstrong on for Sunderland. Again, Liverpool, nervy! Mark Wright gets the blocking tackle in to deny Peter Davenport, and that was going in. Sunderland so close again. They left it to each other. It goes through the legs of Jones, and Wright just turns it round the post. Sunderland in the ascendant. Grobbelaar comes, and that's what Liverpool needed. Set pieces, time and again this season, Liverpool have looked uncomfortable dealing with them. And twice Sunderland have had clear chances denied. Thomas forward for Liverpool. Thought about going around Rogan, but he dealt with him well, Rogan. It was an excellent challenge. Second one by Atkinson. Break of the ball went Liverpool's way then. They've been the side under the pressure though. Houghton. Off the top of Bracewell's head. Rush stepped in to clear well. Sunderland looking very well organised by Malcolm Crosby. Just as they were in that hard-fought semi-final victory over Norwich. And although I mentioned all those players who've never appeared at Wembley before, maybe we should also point out that 6 other players in this Sunderland squad did appear here in the playoff against Swindon 2 years ago. And I think that's showing too. They are far from intimidated by the occasion or by the opposition here. And you can hear their fans. The Roker roar of old. Bennett came through Saunders, advantage played by Philip Don. Paul Bracewell using all his experience to tidy it up. It's a beautiful ball into Byrne, and he was almost clear, John Byrne. He thinks he was taken out. A little bit of quality in that Sunderland break. Liverpool need to respond in kind, but again Rogan wins a challenge. Armstrong was caught on his heels again, but picked it up. Forward by Rogan. Davenport running the channels intelligently. He's done better, Peter Davenport. Trying to go across Jones. Just about tidied up by Mark Wright again. Atkinson came in onto the loose ball. And Sunderland with another sight of goal. Here goes McManaman opening those legs for the first time. And he wins a free kick for Liverpool. Tug on the shirt by Kevin Ball. McManaman to Molby. Michael Thomas. No question, Liverpool have lost their way a little bit. It's been all Sunderland for the last 10 minutes. And that roar, the Roker roar, is growing in ferocity here. Armstrong, well picked up. Thomas fouled him. It's another Sunderland free kick. Grobbelaar wants a wall. 3 of them at least. Michael Thomas is just spare off the side of the wall, maybe as the man to run and try to block. Bracewell flicks it sideways to Rogan. Couldn't test Grobbelaar this time. The Northern Ireland international. The one thing we must say about Liverpool's players, speaking to them in this week of the Cup final, they were under no illusions about just what a tricky occasion this was going to be for them. And not just the memories of Wimbledon's FA Cup final win here. Bruce Grobbelaar was the one to point it out, actually. This very season, let's not forget, Liverpool were shocked by Peterborough in the Rumbelows League Cup. They're still hurting about that, some 6 months on. And you can be sure Ronnie Moran and Graham Souness haven't let them forget it either. Set up by Armstrong. Brian Atkinson came onto it. Certainly Grobbelaar's had more to do than Tony Norman at the other end. And even Molby's reduced to giving the ball away. That doesn't happen all that often, does it? Roy Evans takes a turn to scream out the instructions. Slip by Rogan. Ian Rush gets on it for Liverpool. Ray Houghton. Rush once more. Sunderland have got themselves organised now. And defending in numbers, they get the job done. There was a challenge late by Michael Thomas on Paul Bracewell. 50-50, he said to the referee. May well have been. Bracewell, another man whose career is a story of triumph against the odds, against injury. Rogan's had a good start to the game and gets a lucky break when his footing let him down. Not much seen of Steve McManaman for Liverpool. Byrne on the chase again, well read this time by Burrows. Saunders turned to chase one against Gary Bennett. McManaman. David Rush is doing an excellent job. He was helped then by Ball tidying it up, but David Rush made the first covering challenge on McManaman, and Liverpool have got a problem in getting McManaman free here. And again, this time it's Atkinson who's alert to the McManaman threat and covers him well. They've really prepared excellently. Saunders on Bennett. He's giving a few inches and quite a few pounds away in that physical battle, but he was adjudged the culprit then. Sunderland FA Cup winners in 1937 previously, and then against Leeds here in 1973 on a day that nobody with any Sunderland connection will ever forget. I'm not sure there'll be anybody left who remembers their FA Cup final appearance in pre-Wembley days in 1913. They were runners-up in that year. And finalists, of course, in the League Cup some 9 years ago, 84-85 season. Houghton charges on. Rogan and Bennett, good covering, good work together between them. Buys a bit of time at least. Rob Jones whips it in again. It's dropped for McManaman. Not the best first touch. And certainly not the best first touch from Steve Nicol coming onto it. The boyhood dream Wembley occasion so far for McManaman that it promised to be, given the season he's had, when so many of his schoolboy dreams have come true. So sharp onto anything dropping loose in the middle of the park, Sunderland. Byrne does look a menace here up front. Mulby needed too long on it. Maybe feels he wasn't getting the movement that he thrives on for his passing. Jones to right. That's Amos. Not good enough from Liverpool for their fans, you feel here. Not been good enough, finishing 6th in Division 1 this season. And anything less than taking the FA Cup back to Merseyside tonight is totally unacceptable. John Byrne, again he makes life difficult, and again with the confidence of a man who's scored in every round. Saw the opportunity, might have been better that time to look for a colleague, but Sunderland do look to him. He's become a talisman on this cup run, snaffling vital goals all the way along this road to Wembley. Started in round 3 at home to Port Vale. Winners at Oxford in round 4. And then those big ties in round 5 and round 6 against West Ham and Chelsea, won in each case after a replay by Sunderland, showing great character. McManaman. Houghton. Rob Jones. Armstrong got a foot in, helped on into Ian Rush's path, and a huge roar greets Gary Bennett as he steers it back to Norman. Byrne under no pressure. David Rush for Sunderland. Gary Owers arrives to help. Now he needs a good cross this time, and he can't deliver for the second time from an excellent position. Big frustration. He's such a good athlete now he's fit again, Owers. Can run all day long, but Sunderland do need a bit more precision than that. Burrows slipped. Perhaps this Wembley surface is even softer underfoot than one or two of the players were expecting. Helped on by Rush. Davenport tried to slip it back to David Rush. The great thing for Sunderland in this first half, all the players who've played at top level, the likes of Davenport, Byrne, Bracewell, they're all at it and all giving very good displays, and that's dragging the others along, maybe some of the younger players in this Sunderland side today. But we can't say of any of the Sunderland players that the occasion is proving too much for them. If anything, it's Liverpool who've got to lift it. Now they've given McManaman the chance to have a dart. Goes around the outside of Owers, but he was never threatening Steve McManaman to get on the end of it. Sunderland can't believe that Liverpool have got the corner. It looked for all the world as though Owers had shepherded it to safety. Even better, it's a free kick. Now, will Liverpool profit from that? No is the answer, and Sunderland feel a little bit aggrieved. The debate's continuing with referee Philip Don, because they thought it should never have been a free kick in the first place. Souness, let's hope he can restore himself to full health after such a trying period in his life. The debate waged all week as to whether he would travel with the team. Crosby and Coa off the bench for Sunderland. They sense something here. Armstrong again won a clean header coming in from that left side. He's played plenty as a striker, of course, coming through the ranks, and that's a little bit of a weapon working for Sunderland here. Houghton to Mulby. Everything seeming to go through him for Liverpool. That's a little more promising when Saunders came short, but he didn't make a good connection on it. Steadily done by Wright. On by Jones. McManaman, Bracewell. Slid in. Liverpool building promisingly. Steve Nicol joins in. It's the most threatening moment for a while at this end. Ours dealt with it. More work for Houghton to do here down this side. He gets it, just. Right to Thomas. Jones. In by Houghton. Rush came and showed for it. Saunders picked it off. Nicol. They're going sideways, really, Liverpool. Where is the stinging end product? Doesn't come. Rush again dealt with Nicol down that side very comfortably. Now Houghton maybe to invent something. Not the slickness that Liverpool were hoping for today in their passing, certainly. And at this stage, perhaps Liverpool fans are beginning to feel the loss of John Barnes, certainly, and the polish of Ronnie Whelan also. Bracewell for Sunderland. Bernard checked out wide. First little glimpse of sunshine at Wembley today. Very cool this morning. Sunderland fans who must have travelled here, perhaps again with memories of that Leeds Cup final when it was a similar day to today. Davenport stopped by Burrows. Of course, on that all-time famous occasion, Sunderland's goal came through Ian Porterfield at the end that they now attack, and they've had their moments in this half too, plenty of them. Byrne did it well. David Rush. Davenport showing in the box. Out as far as Atkinson. Again, it's that set move with Armstrong coming in from the left flank to try to put pressure on Jones. Jones dealt with it extremely well. Mulby to McManaman. He's gone again here, McManaman. Bennett went against him well. Very well. As ever in the FA Cup, you look at this Sunderland performance and you ask, how is it that they can finish as low as 18th in Division 2 this season? Not that far off the relegation places. Steve McManaman. Two Liverpool men on their heels in the centre of the area. Well won by Bracewell. And returned by Wright, clattering into Byrne. Mark Wright's gone over to take Gary Bennett under this high ball. He got the header in there just ahead of Bennett. Again, it's not very well tidied up by Liverpool. Houghton eventually gets it forward, and then Mulby allows it to run away from him. And you can sense the wave of anxiety building up in the Liverpool fans here. They need something. Dean Saunders might be the man to provide it for them. He's gone a long way. Tony Norman always seemed to have it in hand. Saunders makes the angle quite narrow for himself. Norman on the 6-yard line, but no further out. Perfect. Rush to Houghton. Liverpool well below their best, certainly so far. McManaman. Might break for Thomas. Mulby. Jones. Had to do something individually and did it well. Norman stayed on his line. Much better from Liverpool. McManaman coming in from that side. Beautiful cross from Rob Jones. And just for once, Sunderland looked slightly less comfortable defensively. Good piece of invention to get past Armstrong. McManaman might have done better with it. And that's lifted spirits in the Liverpool support, certainly. Now, it's Houghton. Thomas's run was superbly blocked by Atkinson. It's 0-0, and that's good news for Sunderland. Off by Byrne to Armstrong. Looked early for Davenport. Wright taking him. Twisting and turning Davenport as he's done throughout his career. Off Mark Wright for a Sunderland corner. Yet another one in this first half. Now, will Liverpool look any more authoritative here? Dealing with it. Atkinson to take. John Byrne is the player near post. That was aimed at him. Hook clear by Saunders. Nice idea again from Byrne, trying to take it on the half turn. Ian Rush. Bennett's out to track him. Liverpool looking to counter-attack. On quickly to McManaman. It's another excellent block by David Rush. He's living up to the occasion, isn't he? Saunders. Not sure he got clean contact on it. Houghton for Liverpool, trying to invent one. Well, you look around this Liverpool side and so many of the players involved here have got so many medals already in their personal trophy cabinets. But with 40 minutes played in this FA Cup-Final, we know already that Liverpool are going to have to work very hard if they are to add to their tally today. Reputations are counting for little. Molby to Jones. The one time in the first half that Rob Jones has got forward down the right for Liverpool, he produced probably their best cross of the half. Mainly it's funneled out the other side to McManaman and to Nicol outside him. Here's Molby. Ambitious even for the Great Dane. Miscue by Rush slightly. Thomas off to Houghton. Getting more involved, more centrally here, Houghton. Was it out? Yes. Sunderland have been able to sit in. Look at Bracewell, centre screen there, the captain, just calming people down around him. Sitting in, making Liverpool pass it before they make any progress. Giving Sunderland the time to get themselves well organised, and that's what they've been in this first half. And as it's developed, it's got harder and harder for Liverpool to pass their way through, as we know they can. Flick on by Armstrong, off the heels of Jones, drop for John Byrne. Picked out some help from David Rush. Davenport on the turn. McManaman. Nicol to right. Michael Thomas. No way through once more. Houghton to Molby. Rush collected. He was crowded out. Might get a second chance here though, Ian Rush. Just as he was getting into his stride, he seemed to be caught. McManaman has changed sides. It's Steve McManaman for Liverpool, and this is much more promising. They cannot believe that Philip Dunn has not given a penalty. He seemed clearly to be taken out by Paul Bracewell. Have Sunderland been given a life by this referee? Davenport now. No time for an inquest. Sunderland on the counter. It's John Byrne. Linking well with Davenport. Didn't really have the pace to get away from Burrows. The help's arrived though. And now listen to the chorus of boos. This angle may tell us more. He goes easily past Armstrong, McManaman, twists inside Bracewell, who then comes back here for a second go. Not conclusive, that evidence. Either way. One thing we must say in mitigation, there wasn't a lot of protest from the other Liverpool players. Saunders hustling. Again, Norman timing his excursion from the line perfectly. Rob Harris, the linesman on this side, would have been instrumental in that decision. No penalty. It's half-time in this FA Cup final, a half that has gone pretty much according to plan for Sunderland. They even got the benefit of the big refereeing decision of the half. Graham Souness, Ronnie Moran, and Liverpool will not be pleased, not only with that decision. Houghton's leading the inquiries now, but in general play, Liverpool have been below their best today, certainly. They created one or two bright moments early on, but Sunderland have got an excellent game plan for this FA Cup final. John Byrne has had one or two clear chances, and Sunderland have certainly created the bulk of the opportunities in the half. Sadly for them, they have nothing to show for it, but we know already that Liverpool are in a real game here in this FA Cup final. It's Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0 at half-time. Welcome back to Wembley, where the showers continue to fall as Liverpool make their way out for this second half. And what a roar greets Sunderland, and that tells you the story of the first half here. Sunderland look intent on making themselves FA Cup final heroes once more. And as the massed bands make their way away, the final 45 minutes on this road to the FA Cup this season. And if Liverpool were under some scrutiny as hot favourites at the start, that's only intensified here. They are going to have to raise it, certainly. But it's the Sunderland fans who've been raising the noise level. They sense another famous FA Cup victory now. Just a little sighting on that far side of the two Liverpool substitutes, Mark Walters and Mike Marsh, going through some warming up at the start of this second period, but not called on here yet. Philip Dunn just waiting for everybody to take their positions. Fine half from Paul Bracewell, setting the tone for Sunderland. Here we go then. Armstrong got there ahead of Jones. John Burns in space here. Might yet get on the end of it for Sunderland. Needs a bit of help. Mark Wright was across to put it behind, but just the start to the second half that Sunderland were looking for. There is no question they sense a famous FA Cup triumph here today. Emulating 1973 and all of that. How well they've done so far. Atkinson's corner, Grobbelaar got two hands but not far, just bounced up awkwardly for Bracewell. Grobbelaar again, this time it's a clean take above Davenport. Ray Houghton for Liverpool. Houghton has started this second half down the left, and here McManaman down the right for Liverpool. Maybe looking for a change of fortune. McManaman tricked his way into the box just before the break, didn't he? And nearly won a penalty. He's put Michael Thomas in here. Liverpool get the lead through Michael Thomas with an inspired FA Cup final moment. And the change worked perfectly. They restrained Graham Souness, and understandably so, but he would have been off the bench to celebrate with Liverpool fans everywhere. McManaman works his magic, and breakthrough comes down the right-hand side. Trickery and a beautiful pass inside. One of those Michael Thomas runs from midfield. And this time Tony Norman gets virtually nothing on it. It's a superb goal, and just what Liverpool were looking for. A moment of real inspiration. Sunderland perhaps the better side, but rocked by this early in the second half. What a moment for Michael Thomas. He got the first chance of the game. Early in the second half he gets another one. No mistake this time. And all Sunderland's excellent work in this game for naught right now as the rain begins to hammer down. A change in the weather and a change in the plot. They are disgusted on the Sunderland bench. They've done so well, but McManaman gets past the challenge of Atkinson, and inside Armstrong just enough to get Michael Thomas free. It's a beautiful strike. Norman did get something on it, not nearly enough though. It's a fabulous FA Cup final goal. Well, will Liverpool now relax and play as we know they can? Houghton. Sunderland have answered every test, all the questions asked about them so far in the game, but they've got bigger ones to ask now. Saunders deflected off the head of Bennett. Norman kept it from going behind. Done little wrong, this keeper, has he, today? Off the top of Wright's head. Won by Davenport. Nicol got the second one. Wright got that one. And another change by Liverpool here. They've switched it over at the break. They started, as you may remember, with David Burrows playing alongside Mark Wright, but it looks as though Steve Nicol has come back inside for this second half to play at centre half. That was the combination that would have been the tried and trusted one for Liverpool. That's what they are using now. Byrne with Wright. There is Nicol. Lovely ball from him. Saunders. There's a bit of authority now with the goal that Liverpool didn't have in that first period. Houghton down the left. Also a change that appears to have worked, mainly because it's got McManaman in down the right. Here he is. Oh, and he's just waltzed past Armstrong and past Rogan. The change has worked to perfection. McManaman getting much more change down the right against Armstrong and Rogan. Houghton short. Quick thinking as ever. Just too much on it for Ian Rush. Rogan dallied somewhat. Didn't look comfortable on his right foot. Hooked it away with the wrong foot, his left foot, which is actually his better foot. Was at least a safety, but Sunderland suddenly feel as though they're hanging on a little bit. They're feeding McManaman at every opportunity. Thomas. Well, the whiz kid nearly beat himself, but things are running Liverpool's way now, including the break of that ball. Burrows, Dean Saunders, it'll skip away from him on the turf, but he is quick and he's got there! Ian Rush was denied by Rogan. Liverpool look transformed here. Rush. It's a superb stop by Tony Norman to deny Jan Molby what would have been a wonder goal. Liverpool going through the gears now. And that was dropping in. Mistake by Steve Nicol gave it away. Davenport on the charge. John Byrne. Wright matched him stride for stride, seemed to step across him. Been a good contest in this FA Cup-Final. Free kick. Time for Sunderland to respond, if they can. It's been a fine FA Cup-Final so far, and you feel that it's getting better. Atkinson's free kick. Robillard took charge. Well, no sign of any change by Sunderland to try to stem the threat now. Liverpool have changed it around. They've kept with the formation that did serve them well in the first half. Bennett charged through a couple of challenges. John Byrne away from his international teammate Houghton. Little hurried and aimless from Gary Ayres. Taken a long time for the Anfield choir to strike up today. But it's them we can hear now, and it's Liverpool with the lead. In a season when this trophy has taken on extra importance for Liverpool. Their only route to silverware. Almost unheard of that they might end the season without a trophy. Wright and Byrne once more. So important, you feel, for Mark Wright's credibility, having been such a big money purchase, that he does end the season walking up those famous steps to collect a trophy to keep Liverpool fans and supporters and chairman and board members like David Moore is there happy. Nicol held his ground. Rush collected it. Gathered by McManaman. Rogan gets a challenge in this time to stop him. Jones was taken out by Bracewell. Free kick to Liverpool. It's becoming harder all around the field. You just have that sense that Sunderland are having to work extra hard now to stem Liverpool. The passing is slicker, the movement is better, and it's another free kick to Liverpool, conceded this time by Armstrong in a more threatening place. He's had his best spell of the game the last 15 minutes, Steve McManaman. They can ill afford to lose him. They prefer it, I think, if he stayed seated, but he just can't help himself, and it's understandable. He was off the bench when Ronnie Whelan slid the ball over the line at Highbury in the final seconds of extra time to earn Liverpool a replay in the semi-final, and equally quickly he was pounced on by the doctor and made to sit down. Mulby's free kick. Houghton down to Nicol. Ball was going wide in truth, but he was afforded plenty of space. You'd never have known it at any time in the first half, but in this second half, one or two signs now that Division 1 class is starting to show itself above the Division 2 side. But they're not finished yet, Sunderland, not by a long way. Bracewell. Ayres. Under pressure from Rush. Did it well. Byrne did well too. Off Burrows. Houghton forward to Ian Rush. Nickel. I think Jan Molby had indicated that he was willing to burst forward, and maybe the legs not what they were as a younger man. He then thought better of it. But the red tide is beginning to sweep forward here, just prematurely. Offside, McManaman, but not by much. Harder work now for Bennett and Co back there for Sunderland, though. Jones put his head on it. Davenport. Won by Rob Jones. This is so much more like Liverpool. 1 and 2 touch, opening Sunderland up. As the sunshine breaks through here at Wembley. And Liverpool are making that ball zing around and making Sunderland work much, much harder just to contain them. Bennett slipped. It's beautiful from Dean Saunders. It's Ian Rush for Liverpool. It's a good block applied by Kevin Ball. Saunders was heavily involved, intricate footwork, good to watch. And on the hour, it suddenly looks a different game. On by Byrne. It was Davenport who went to ground, unfortunately for Sunderland. Getting a little bit harder as we get into the final third of this game. In the middle of the park, you feel, for the likes of Atkinson and Bracewell, who did such a great job in the first period closing the opposition down. Also Rush, David Rush, just there. He too couldn't quite get his foot to the ball, and nor could Armstrong. That's beginning to be the story of this second half. Sunderland looking a little leggy now across the middle of the field. Liverpool are exerting that extra little bit of class. Cleared by Aris. Burrows took a liberty. John Byrne was very alive to it. He was lucky, Burrows. He doesn't believe it. We can all read that, but we saw it with our own eyes. It's the first caution of this FA Cup final. And he knew that Byrne might have been in Burrows had he not stretched out that leg and clipped him. All Sunderland get is a free kick. The good news for Sunderland, with Byrne in particular, also with Davenport up there, Sunderland still look menacing on the counter-attack, certainly. Arrows, now they need good service from Gary Arrows. There hasn't been a lot of that today, I'm afraid. More promising here. Wright climbed highest. Did well. McManaman out. Rush on the turn. Atkinson closed him off well. Ball helped out. Is it time for a Sunderland rally here? Rogan ran out of ideas, really. Rob Jones has got some room to work in. So too has Ian Rush. Houghton joins in. Sunderland are struggling to get back. Saunders. He picked out McManaman. Bracewell showing all his experience. Out to Byrne. Cheeky. Needs one or two others to pick up the tempo a little bit, I think, John Byrne. Davenport might have a go, couldn't get away from Wright. Well read by Bennett. Hours for Sunderland. Wanted David Rush to chauffeur him down this side, I think. On by Davenport. John Byrne, can he get a swivel and a shot in? Jones shepherds him away. Build-up was okay. And on his day, Bracewell can strike it well. All those knowledgeable Sunderland fans who know the game inside out, it's in their blood. They'll know that the signs are that it's just becoming harder here for Sunderland. The pained look on Bracewell's face told us something, I think, too. They're still in it, very much so. But they are going to have to find something different. And as ever, this turf here at Wembley, when sodden, does put a strain on the body. The legs can tire. Part of the folklore of the FA Cup final here. The space is beginning to open up. Rush to Atkinson to Byrne. I think he was looking for a free kick and he's got one. Just almost bought that, John Byrne, out of right. Cleverly done. Promising position for Sunderland. But it's not that much of a surprise to see one or two signs of movement on the Sunderland bench. The Roker roar goes up. Arras with it. Won by Armstrong. Bennett trying to make a nuisance of himself. But that's all he was to Grobbelaar. McManaman. Again he gets away from Armstrong all too easily. Bracewell, with all his experience, covered the gap. Dean Saunders for Liverpool, though. Goes around Bracewell. Couldn't pull it back enough for Ian Rush. Well, it wouldn't even now be a surprise if Sunderland produced something. They've done it hard all the way along the road to Wembley. Tricky tie at Oxford. In round 4, their fellow Division 1 strugglers. It looked tough indeed when they were drawn with West Ham in round 5. Came through in a replay. Same story against Chelsea in round 6. Men like Kevin Ball have waited a whole career for a day like this to play in an FA Cup final. And they are going to go down fighting. Houghton to Nicol. Saunders! Liverpool's top scorer, that close to clinching the FA Cup. Sunderland have to hang on somehow. Nicol again with the cross. Norman's come this way, and he got it. Looked early for Davenport. Drop for John Byrne. 2 on 3. Well stopped by David Burrows. The 3 worked well together then for Liverpool. Houghton. Space is opening up all the time for Liverpool. Dean Saunders goes again. Michael Thomas. Ian Rush! It's the perfect Liverpool FA Cup final goal from one of their all-time greats. He won't get off the bench, but Souness must feel that Liverpool have 2 hands on the trophy now. A classic Liverpool goal. Saunders has been sparkling at times in this final. Thomas running from deep yet again causing menace. And if there's one player in English football you'd want to pass it one touch into the net, it would be Ian Rush. And that's what he does here. And it surely breaks Sunderland hearts now. Superb football and a superb finish. Just rolls it in the corner. The change has to be made. David Rush makes way. Paul Hardiman does get his taste of the FA Cup final, But is it too late? Player who's featured in every game on this road to the final. It's all slipping away from them now, I'm afraid. It's not quite time for the party to start, but you can see what's in their mind. Another Wembley celebration. So maybe this season, this troubled season for Liverpool, is going to have a happy ending for manager and players and supporters. And even Sunderland on this heroic cup run have never been quite up against it the way they are now. Saunders, Thomas. Shades of the old Liverpool with Ian Rush. The master finisher, the slick passing. Houghton and Rush again working in concert. Saunders just too much on it for him. He might have been in again. Instead, he is penalised. They've gorged on success decade after decade. 18 league titles. But runners-up is no good, as they were last season in the league. An FA Cup win would be timely indeed. Having collected the trophy on 4 previous occasions. And it does look as though they'll be spared the embarrassment this time of Wimbledon. Norman might get embarrassed here. That would have been one of the most extraordinary goals in FA Cup final history. Quick thinking by Houghton. And on another day, Norman might have been caught out. Unlucky. That little bit of international know-how and quality is showing itself. Speed of thought. The bounce certainly favoured the keeper. Even Rob Jones is given licence to get forward now. Thunderous noise from the Liverpool fans now. Davenport trying to twist and turn against Michael Thomas. Bracewell. Looking a little rudderless now, I'm afraid. What a big moment in the whole affair the goal by Michael Thomas was, and what a time to get it. Transformed the game completely. Rush to Saunders. He's done so well second half, just dropping off the front to find more room for himself, Saunders. It's just clever football by clever players. Might be something else here. Another fine save by Norman. One-way traffic late on here. Nickel. Mulby. Saunders. Steve Nickel once more. Saunders just couldn't collect it. Thomas. McManaman. Rogan gets close to him, that time at least. Burn beaten by Mulby. Houghton. The ball zipping around between the players in red. So hard to work against that if you're Sunderland. The movement's so much better in this second half by Liverpool. Again and again they spring McManaman. He's got another one-on-one, and this time at least Gordon Armstrong did get something on it to stop him. Mulby. Rush stepped over it. Saunders was almost stepping in. Nickel to Houghton. Well, they're making it look as comfortable in the second half now, Liverpool, as they were uncomfortable in the first. Rush, second time blocked by Bennett. All hands to the pump there for Sunderland, but they're just blocking and clearing and waiting for the next attack to come. With just these two, Davenport and Byrne, posted up front in the hope of nicking something on the break. And it looks a forlorn hope, I'm afraid. Saunders to Thomas. Good stretch by Atkinson. Suddenly, Sunderland's season of disappointment in Division 2 looks more understandable. McManaman skips away from Rogan once more. He's got the run of Wembley. Rogan stuck to his guns well. All Liverpool have got to do is keep playing here, because their football is clearly too much for Sunderland to deal with now. Seemed to clip Bennett actually as he shepherded it over the line. They can throw on one other change though. Gordon Armstrong will make way for Warren Hawke here, and he'll get a great moment in his young career. Another young player who cannot have imagined a possibility that he would end this season playing in an FA Cup-Final. But it does look as though that's where the fairy tale ends. Liverpool don't look in a mood to let it slip here. So many big-name players can only justify themselves, can only live up to the standard set by all the greats through Liverpool's history. By winning a trophy, it'll be something to offer, even if the league and prizes in Europe look beyond them right now. McManaman's won yet another corner. Thomas to Houghton. Mulby. Strolling, dictating the rhythm of the game. Nicol. Trying to go outside Rogan. Throws in this position can be as useful to Liverpool as corners. Nicol goes short. Space everywhere, Liverpool need it now. McManaman almost looking for players to take on. It's wave after wave of red-shirted attack here. It's not quite a winger's performance in the Stanley Matthews class, certainly, but McManaman has shown again the benefit of width on a day like this, on an occasion like this. First real touch for Warren Hall. Aris. Well watched by Burrows. Nicol came to help. Houghton. I think you could look around this Liverpool side second half and say every single man has lifted the level of his performance, not just McManaman. Little risque by Grobbelaar, as we've come to expect. Seized on by Rogan. The spirit's still intact for Sunderland. That's one thing they can grasp hold of here late on. A scoreline that did not look likely at half-time, but what was said by whom in the Liverpool dressing room at the break, whether by Borisma, Souness, Moran or Evans, who we will never know exactly who said what, but whatever it was, they did say the changes they did make have transformed this. And Liverpool are playing to form now, which is all they felt they had to do. If they could play to their level, they knew that they would probably be good enough, and that's what has now happened. But it did take into the second half. You'll never walk alone. Saunders had some space, sensed it was there to drive into. Despite all the disappointments of the league campaign, we knew that Liverpool, at their best, can be a threat and a test for any team. And they've shown glimpses of their best in this second half. But it came through Rush. Hard to know what else Sunderland could have done here second half once they went behind. And the legs started to give out on them after such a superb display in the first half. Threadbare squad really at their disposal. Saunders twists past Aris. Houghton. There's a goal on every time they attack, you feel. McManaman fed early by Jones, gets it back now, Rob Jones. Mulby. Every touch being cheered for Liverpool. Saunders knew where the space was, very clever. Thomas. Little pull on Warren Hawke. Sunshine and shadows at Wembley for this big occasion, much as it was on the day when Sir Alf Ramsey led England to World Cup victory here in 1966. This man, Bob Gurney, is a Sunderland hero of old, certainly. He scored when Sunderland won the FA Cup here in 1937. Rach Carter was also on the score sheet. Sunderland beat Preston that day in a period where they were still truly a power in the land. They'd been champions in 1935-36. They've let nobody down today. A club with a marvellous tradition of its own. They dominated English football in the final years of the last century. 3 championships in the 1890s and another one just after the turn of the century. The FA Cup's always meant so much. On Wearside also. Well, Grobbelaar's going to keep it interesting as only he can. Byrne for Sunderland. Not clear by right. Rogan. Burrows headed it up and out. Drop for Molby. He's got that habit, hasn't he, of being in the right place at the right time. Got a little hustled in the first half, but it's been normal service from Jan Molby second period. Always directing operations. Arrogant flick by right. And Grobbelaar really has almost been inventing work for himself in this second half. Crosby Sunderland really have not forced Grobbelaar into any serious action. And Grobbelaar is a keeper, of course, who loves to be involved in it. Saunders didn't make Norman work that time. Might have done. Souness does get to his feet and is asked politely to sit down again by his doctor. Can't help himself from being involved, of course. Thomas got a foot in. Got it back from Saunders. Molby. McManaman. What a test for Anton Rogan it's been second half. McManaman in again. Just couldn't get it back enough for Rush. Houghton. Well, they're warming, certainly, the Liverpool fans here today to the way Liverpool have played second half, and rightly so. It's not been a vintage season by any means, but shades of vintage Liverpool here. I think in the long run, the question is whether this performance will paper over the cracks, or whether, in fact, it is a sign that it can be normal service for Liverpool. That's a question for next season now. There's no question that it has been imperious at times here in this finale to the FA Cup-Final, and a grand finale to Liverpool's season. Not something that seemed all that likely over the winter months. journey home to the northeast, and they won't quite be emulating the epic, glorious return of 1973. Merseyside will wait to welcome them, probably with a open-top bus parade through the city centre, as usual. McManaman. Kevin Ball clear. Seemed to pull up as though he'd tightened up a muscle. Another classic feature of life in Wembley Cup finals on this turf. Tired minds and bodies now for Sunderland. The legs seem to be starting to give out first, and concentration is hard to maintain. Philip Don's had a look at the watch. Might be time for Liverpool to add more to the tally. All round Wembley, the stewards have taken their places. Those weary Sunderland players will have spotted that and know the game is up and the dream has died. Saunders. Oh, what a goal that would have been. What a way to finish Liverpool's season. Liverpool's top scorer. Not far away. It's all over here at Wembley. Class told from the moment that Michael Thomas settled Liverpool's nerves. And whatever was said by Graham Souness, Ronnie Moran and co at half-time seemed to make all the difference. Because once Thomas put Liverpool in front and Ian Rush, the master finisher, applied the finishing touch, it was an exhibition by Liverpool. It's been a magnificent effort by Sunderland to come this far, but there was no doubt that the big-name players prevailed second half, and they put on an exhibition that would please even this master, a former Liverpool playing great, and now manager of an FA Cup final winning side. And they didn't even need to call on Mike Marsh or Mark Walters, their two substitutes today. Handshakes all round. Sunderland players in every department performed above themselves really in the first half. They can be well pleased with their display overall, but they were hanging on second half, and probably will feel that 2-0 keeps it respectable, and respectability is all they were hoping for. They sink to the turf here at the conclusion, tired, exhausted after their endeavours, but they let nobody down, that's for sure. And warm celebrations among the Liverpool players, who've had to endure more than their fair share of criticism this season. It all feels much better now, doesn't it? Because Liverpool FC is about winning. The losers go up first in time-honoured tradition. And Paul Bracewell leads his weary men up those 39 steps. They're getting a fine hand from everybody here, and they deserve that. First half in particular, they were excellent, but they've been superb all the way along the FA Cup final road, creating many of the biggest stories in the competition this season. Nobody gave them a chance in round 5 against West Ham, nor indeed against Chelsea in round 6. They did it the hard way in replays both times. Ground out semi-final victory to make it here. Bracewell's been a magnificent pro. Let's hope there's more in the tank for him. A player who's shown immense courage to fight back from injury. John Byrne, probably Sunderland's pick on the day. And so many of these young players, hopefully, who can come on from here for Sunderland. Kevin Ball, another excellent pro who deserves a day like this. Gary Ayres, who thought he'd never see one. Peter Davenport, another fine professional. Willing, honest professionals everywhere. Gary Bennett had his hands full second half, as did the keeper, of course, Tony Norman. Really a hero all through the campaign for Sunderland. It's something to show, even if it is a loser's medal. And now it's Mark Wright's turn. Up he comes. He must feel a huge weight lifting. He must be almost carried up the steps on a wave of euphoria and relief under such pressure this season. Big name player asked to perform at the top, game in, game out. One of the faces for the future for Liverpool. There's much work to do, but he does have an FA Cup to show for this season's labours, as Liverpool lift the trophy for the 5th time in their history. Dean Saunders almost ran the show second half. Steve McManaman, how can you better that as a kid in your first FA Cup final? It's another FA Cup win for Steve Nicol, his 4th. Rob Jones, what a future beckons for him. Michael Thomas with a brilliant goal. The master craftsman finishes of Premium Rush. David Burrows, Mike Marsh, Liverpool through and through, of course. Mark Walters, Ray Houghton, who showed his class second half, as did Jan Molby. And a handshake, a pat on the back or a little hug from David Moores for every Liverpool player as they file past with their winners' medals. Huge relief in the boardroom as much as the dressing room for Liverpool, but they have indeed justified themselves to their fans, and Liverpool can celebrate FA Cup winners for the 5th time in the 111th FA Cup final.